Hello everybody, Robert here. Today we're flushing the coolant out of this truck. This is a procedure to get rid of all of the green coolant, and I'm going to start using this heavy duty red coolant. This is Shell ELC, that stands for Extended Life Coolant. So let's get started. The reason I'm doing this is because I have a leak here. I have to replace the water pump, and in the process of doing that, I'm going to drain out all of my green coolant. The green coolant is actually the wrong coolant for this truck. I did not know that until earlier this year. My friend Jeremy told me, and he said everybody switches over to this ELC, Extended Life Coolant. There is a whole process where you have to drain everything out, drain it out of here, pop the hose off on the bottom, get everything out, and then there is also plugs on both sides of the block in the back on either side, and you pull those out and it drains everything. Then you put them back in, you flush it all with a garden hose, and then you flush it all several times with distilled water. I will be doing all of that today. Let's get rolling. So while this is draining, I want to tell you that this is a write-up that I'm following. It's on all the message boards, on powerstroke.org, fordtrucks.com. Some guy named Gooch. I don't know if that's a name, nickname, whatever, but he's apparently some sort of an engineer or chemist or something, and he's an expert in coolants. And so he talks all about this whole procedure that and wrote it all out, and people pasted it on all these different places. That's what we're going to be following today. All right, now we're going to drain the block from the back. I'm starting with the driver's side. It's right up there. Okay. It is that thing right by the oil filter. So you use a 1/4-inch ratchet and pop that baby out. And so I've got a big catch pan right here. I'm gonna be ready to catch it all. Fingers crossed. Right into the pan. You need a big catch basin down here for this. And yes, I date and put mileage on my filters. And now that I've drained everything out, I've reinstalled that plug finger tight. And you can barely see it, but up above the starter on the other side, you can see the other plug. You got to get them both. The way I'm doing this is I'm reaching up and around this way, and I can just barely get my socket onto that. It's tricky. This is not easy at all. There it is. Well, I got it out. It's splashing all over the place though. I'm getting 90% of it. Alright, I got a topside creeper. Just came this weekend. I put it together today. The way this thing works is you push it in there, you can climb up. This is adjustable height. And now I can lay up on this pad and get down in here and work. So I'm gonna cut that hose right there and install my T, my flush T, which is around here somewhere. There it is. So I'm gonna put this in line right here, and that's the last step. Now that we've drained all the coolant out, we're now gonna flush and make sure we got everything. And flush T is installed. I forgot one important thing. I was about to start it up and drive out and start the flush procedure, but you need to take out the thermostat. That way the water flows all the way through and comes right back out the top, and you don't need to wait for it to get hot. It just flushes, so that's the whole point. So I'm gonna pull that out now, and you're gonna see me use my new toy in action. How about this? You've all heard that saying, treat yourself, right? Well, I decided it was time for me to treat myself. I bought this baby on Amazon, and it is so worth it. I'm not a mechanic. This is work that I do for fun on the weekends. But when I have a long project that takes all weekend, my knees get so sore from kneeling on top of that metal radiator, and my lower back gets sore too. The topside creeper is amazing because I can do so much more work without hurting myself, and I feel a whole lot better when I'm done with it all. I know I sound like one of those YouTube guys that's trying to make a commission or sell something or get sponsorships, whatever. I'm not doing any of that. I bought this with my own money, and I'm just giving you feedback based on my own experiences. So go get one for yourself if you want, or don't. I don't really care. All right, now that that's out, I'm gonna go do the flush. All right, I got my garden hose hooked up. This thing is directional. I marked it with a Sharpie. It was very faint, but there's a check valve in there. So we were gonna pump water in there. It's gonna go all throughout the engine and come out through this spout right here. The kit that I got at Walmart comes with this spout. This is my old cap, and I just drilled a hole in there and stuck that thing in there. So we're gonna watch the water coming out of here, and it'll be green at first, and then we're gonna keep on going until it's clear. I got the water on now. There we go. Yeah. That's leaking because I removed all the gaskets from it. We're gonna let that run until it's clear. It still has a greenish tint. It's making a mess down there. I parked in an area where there's a lot of weeds. This is a weed killer going on here too. This is mostly clear now. I don't really detect any green tint anymore. So I'm gonna start the engine and let it run for a few minutes too. Okay, now I'm gonna drain out all of that garden hose water, excuse me, all the hose water that I put in the engine. I'm gonna drain all that out. I've already knocked that loose right there, and now I'm gonna go pull the block plugs out. They're only finger tight, so this should be quick and easy. I shouldn't have said that. Yeah, easy peasy. Next step, we're gonna fill this thing all the way up with distilled water. Then put the cap on, then run it for a couple of minutes, drain it all back out. Then do that all over again, and then do it a third time. Now that I ran the engine for a couple of minutes and cycled everything through, we're gonna drain it out again, and this is my final drain. Third and final. Those last two were the block plugs on either side. All right, Time to fill her up. So you go 4 gallons of concentrate, and then you top off with distilled water. I should be able to get at least 3 gallons in here. I should check below for leaks. All good. Okay, so I'm done. I just added a tiny bit more distilled water to top this thing off because I did have some leaks. Don't do what I did and not tighten your hoses enough. I had some leaks I had to deal with, but this coolant flush is done. Thank you, Gooch, for your excellent write-up and instructions. I followed everything. It did seem a little excessive in my opinion. Let's recap. So you drain out all your coolant, your old antifreeze, get that out. Then you flush with a garden hose and you keep flushing until you only have clear water coming out. Then you drain it. Then you fill it with distilled water, turn on your truck, cycle it through, and then turn your truck off, drain everything out. You do that 3 times. By the 3rd time, I was thinking, is this really necessary? But you know, hey, it's really clean, and I know I got everything out. After your 3rd drain, you put your plugs in and you add your good coolant, your extended life coolant. I went with the Shell product, but, and I know there's a bunch of other correct answers to the which coolant question. But you add 4 gallons of your concentrate, top it off with 3-ish gallons of distilled water, and then you're done. You're off to the races. So that was it. Thank you so much for following along. I plan to make plenty more videos, so please do like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you.